This is Amud Yomi Gemara in Shabbos. Daf. Ayin Hey Amud Bees. And once again, I'd like to dedicate all the learning as a schos refuah shalema for Miriam Ahuva Bas Esther and Tinoik ben Miriam Ahuva. We're holding 3 lines from the bottom of Ayin Hey Amud Aleph as we continue going through the different 39 avos milachos. Ve'hashechatoi. Says the Gemara, classical shaila. Shoichet mishamai mechayev. Why is one chayiv if he shechs an item on Shabbos? Explains the Gemara. Rav Amar Misham Seveya, Ushmuel Amar Misham Netilas Neshama. We have a machlokes. Is a sheichet chayiv because you died the animal, or a sheichet chayiv because you took the animal's life? Asks the Gemara, probably the kasha that's bothering a lot of people. Rav said you're chayiv because of Seveya. According to Rav, you're not chayiv because you took the animal's life away. Mishum Seveya in, as we turn over to Ayin Hayim and Beis, Mishum Netilas Neshama Loi, explains the Gemara, Ema Af Mishum Seveya. What Rav means to say that you're also chayiv for Seveya. Of course you're chayiv for taking the animal's life, but you're also chayiv for Seveya. And Amar Rav, and Rav explains further the kasha that's bothering a lot of us. Why are you chayiv for tzeveya? What does it mean that when you shecht an animal, you're tzeveya, you die the animal? Explains Rav, Milsa Darmi Imaba Milsa. I'm going to tell you something about what I said. I don't want the latter generations to come and laugh at me. Why is there a chiyav tzeveya? The reason is you're happy that the place of the shechita is soaked with blood. It's nice and red. Why? Because when people see a deeply red piece of meat, people see it, and they come to buy it. It looks fresh. The redder it is, the fresher it is. And therefore, that's the reason why, says Rav, there's an extra deraisa when you shecht an animal because of tzeveya. If you salted and you tan it, asks the Gemara, it's the same thing. Explains Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish, Damri Tavayu Abechami. Now you're right, they are the same thing. Remove one of them, va'ayil sirtot, put sirtot tracing lines in its place. Amar Rav Huna Ayman, Te'malach Bisra, someone who salts meat. Salting meat is a form of tanning, which at first thought is a little bit difficult. Tanning means you take the hides and you soak them in salt. So says the Gemara, salting meat is similar. Whereas Rav Amar, no, aid ibud b'ichlin. Says Rav, that's crazy. When it comes to leather, yeah, you create leather by salting it. But when it comes to foods, there's no ibud, says Rava. A large machlokes, and it seems like we do paskin like Rava, but with a big asterisk. That what? When the Rabbi Ravuna says there's a problem when you're salting it very heavily to preserve it for a long time. If you're doing it just to eat it, people don't make their meat into wood. Therefore, there would be no ibud by salting meat, by salting cooked foods. However, there is a form of ibud when it comes to salting vegetables and the like, a difficult sugya. But suffice it to say, to put straight up salt on many vegetables would be a problem of ibud. On one, as if you're dipping in salt, perhaps not. If there's oil to negate the strength of the salt, perhaps not. But there is such a form, la halacha, of a case of salting vegetables on Shabbos that could be a problem. Smoothing it out and cutting it out. If you rub the ground between the pillars on Shabbos, again, of course, they had dirt floors. Chayiv misham mimachek. It's a form of smoothing out the ground. And of course, the reason is that you're happy that the ground is smoother, has a nicer appearance, it's easier to walk on, etc. Amar Rav Cheva Rabba, Shloisha Devarim, 20 lines down, the first one line is Amar, Shloisha Devarim, Zali Rav Ashi, Mishmein Rav Yishua ben Levi. Rav Ashi told me 3 things in Yishua ben Levi, Amar Rashi Chlonses B'Shabbos. If you smooth out the top of poles on Shabbos, Chayim Isha Mechatech. It's an Isser of Mechatech, of cutting. Hamarech Retia B'Shabbos. Someone spreads a Retia on Shabbos, then excuse me, Amarech Retia b'Shabbos, then Amarech Chayim Mishom Mimachik, smoothing. V'Masati 7 b'Shabbos. If you chisel out a stone on Shabbos, Chayim Mishom Makeh B'Patish. Continues the Gemara with some more examples of the malacha of makbeh patish, which is quite a difficult malacha, as we will see. It says the Gemara of Shimon ben Kisma, Amr of Shimon Lakish, Hasartur b'kli, one who chisels in and engraves an image on a kli, v'amanapeach b'kli zchuches, you blow a glass utensil, chayiv misham, makeh b'patish. Amr of Yehuda, Haimad the shakal akufi meglima, someone removes his little pieces sticking off a garment, Chayim Misham Makbeh Patish. It says the Gemara of Animilid Kabbat Alayu. If you care about it, if they bother you, you have these little threads sticking out, you smooth those off. That's makbeh patish. And now makbeh patish is always going to be the final stage to make the item a perfect, usable item. That is makbeh patish. So we continue a little after the middle point of the daf, the two dots. Hakoisei v'shtei oisios. You write two letters. Says the Gemara, a fascinating detail. So the Mishnah taught us if you write two letters, it's an issa daraisa of koisev, of writing. Tana Rabbanan. Says the Gemara, if you write one large letter, and in that place you could have written two letters. So you wrote only one letter, but it's a size of two letters. Says the Gemara, you're potter. It's not a deraisa. Deraisa is only if you write two letters. Whereas on the flip side, fascinating. What if you're machakos achas gedoyla? What if you erase one large letter? So now what's the issue of erasing? In preparation to write. So if you erase one large letter, which now prepared the area to write two letters. Says the Gemara Givaldik, it's going to be a deraisa. And Amar Menachem Rav Yosi, this is going to be one of those trivia questions. What is a chumrah stringency of moichek, of erasing, overwriting? Would be this case that there's a potential you could erase one letter and still be over a deraisa. Why? We know you have to erase two letters. A large letter the size of two letters. Continues the Gemara right before the Mishnah. Anything that completes the malacha, and the Mishnah concluded with interesting words. Elu avos malachos. Says the Gemara. Elu lafuki midrav Eliezer. The Mechayev al tolda b'makim av chaser achas. And the Mishnah said 40 minus 1. Says Rav Yehuda the Tanya, Rav Yehuda Maises Hashayvit V'Medaktek, lining up the warp threads with the rod and beating the weft threads. This is the loom that you throw the items back and forth. Amrulai Shayvet, lining them up. Hareu Bechlal Misach, similar to mounting the warp Medaktek. Hareu Bechlal Oirik. We continue with the next Mishnah with another klal. And we referenced this at the beginning of the parak when we learned klal gadol. We wanted to know why here klal gadol. One of the reasons was because the next Mishnah, this Mishnah says void. Void klal achar amru. Another klal teaches the Mishnah. What's this next klal, says the Mishnah? Kol hakosher latzniya. Anything that is kosher, that is fit to store matzniya, to store matznim, kamayu, when you store things similar to it. V'itzioi b'Shabbos, and you store it on Shabbos. Chayiv chatos Allah to deraisa. Chol she'enoi kosher latzniya. And if it's not something that's fit to store, ve'in matznim kamayu v'itzioi b'Shabbos, ino chayiv ela hamatzniya. Only the one who does it, you're chayiv. And now the Gemara is going to explain exactly what this means, but we will leave this for the next year. B'siyata d'shmaya.